It's a busy week, so might as well do it tonight instead of tomorrow. So a day early. So yeah, that's be the surprise. I said I was figuring out what I was gonna do, but I decided to do it tonight instead of tomorrow. So yeah, let's recap. Last week's college games. NC State beat Florida State, so now they are bowl eligible. The NC State Wolfpack is bowl eligible with that win. It was an interesting kind of game. But the muff punt by Florida State was the difference maker. NC State got the win. It was a close game. We thought maybe Florida State might come back and win, but no, NC State found a way to win at home, so that was a good win for them. Of course, my Virginia Tech Hokies got spanked over the week. The thing is, they kind of hang in there, but still, it's just like, man. Thank God we got one more game off this rough season for Virginia Tech. So, yeah, they lost 34-17 to Miami. I thought we were going to play spoiler, but tough to lose on senior day for the Hokies. So, yeah, 34-17 Miami. They plead their case to the playoffs with a road win there. Ohio State remains undefeated. They beat Rutgers, no problem, 42-9. So that was a good win for them. Oklahoma found a way to beat Missouri. Much needed win for them. Beat a ranked opponent now, keeping their playoff contention alive still. Syracuse gets absolutely dismantled by Notre Dame. So Notre Dame with their 9th straight win, putting up 70 points. Jeremiah Love, their star running back for Notre Dame, scoring 3 touchdowns. So yeah, his Heisman campaign continues with another 170 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. So yeah, he had a great game. So yeah, Notre Dame can show them why they're a legit playoff contender, but also a national championship contender. That game proved it. Beating a Power 4 school by like 60 points. Like 63 points. That's insane, they're upsetting nothing, but Syracuse scored a late touchdown, but still, that's a dominant win for Notre Dame. Yeah, I know it's because they're playing Syracuse, but still, Notre Dame, just look out for this Notre Dame team. Their defense put up a lot of defensive touchdowns in the first. They put 35 points in the first quarter. But still, that was a dominant win for the Irish. They got to win one more game to make the playoffs now. And so they're not in a conference. That's a huge win for them. Vanderbilt trying to fight for their edge bird. They get a 45-17 win over Kentucky, so they are 9-2 in the year. So hats off to Vanderbilt. On senior day, their final home game, they get a win over Kentucky. So Diago Pavia, good way to do it. Your final home game. Texas winning a high-scoring affair with Arkansas, 52-37. Our playoff chances are so slim, but pretty much. Texas, I know they're out of it, but you just never know, but still. They want to at least get to a bowl game at this point. They're already in a bowl game, but still, it's kind of an overrated year for Texas. Ranked highly, and they just fooled a bit. What else do we have over the weekend? And Pitt, of course, beats. Pitt beat Georgia Tech in a huge ACC win right there. So Pitt is closer to the ACC championship game. Georgia Tech's out of the conference title race. Their playoff chances are out of there too. So Georgia Tech, that's a big blowout right there, losing to Pitt. So yeah, Georgia Tech done. They're not in the playoffs now after that loss. They're mathematically eliminated now. Also out of the ACC title race now. So yeah, that's a big loss for Georgia Tech. This is the game they had to have against a good Pitt team. And Pitt was more ready. Georgia Tech made it interesting at the end, but still. Pitt, they're on a quest to get that AC title as well, too. Penn State gets a win. They're now 1 win away from bowl eligibility now with that win over Nebraska over the weekend. 37-10, no problem. They took care of business. Duke beating Carolina. So Belichick will not make a bowl game. So Duke beat the Tar Heels. So that's a good win for the Blue Devils. And, of course, Tennessee beating Florida on the road for the first time since 2003. That was the last time they won in Gainesville. So, yeah, Tennessee finally winning for the first time in 22 years. And Florida, so they get their 8th win of the year. Of course, my Bonnies lose tonight to Carolina. That's their first defeat of the season, folks. The undefeated streak is over for Bonnies. They played tough with Carolina for a while, but the Carolinas kind of ran away with it in the second half. So, yeah, can't complain too much. We know we're up against a good team tonight, so yeah, I can't do anything about it. Just gotta be proud of the effort though, because we could have been beaten by 30 or 25 or more, So yeah, give props to the Bonnies though for hanging in there tonight, I will say. And then let's recap Week 12 of the NFL season last week. I mean, my Buffalo Bills fall down to the Texans. Josh Allen, the most sacks he's allowed, most time he's gotten sacked in his NFL career, 8 sacks. He got sacked 8 times in that Texans D. So yeah, I mean, part of it's I usually blame on Josh, but man, I think part of it's the old line too. I think it's a lot of it. Just the Bills are just a mess right now. I'm a Bills fan, but I'm saying we're a mess right now. I mean, I'm hoping they turn around this week, but just God, the Bills, that was bad. I mean, I know the Texans, their offense is iffy, but still, that's a good defense. You knew we're always struggling against good defense, but still, come on. The O-line's got to do their job and protect Josh Allen. He injured his wrist twice. He was in pain, but he wanted to play through. But still, I mean, this example why the O-line's got to protect. They're not a good line. Everyone's saying like, Bills got a great O-line. I don't think so right now. I think the Bills have a terrible line. This comes from a Bills fan. This comes from me. I think our line is bad. Our defense is just as bad too. That was embarrassing. Probably one of the most embarrassing losses since the Dolphins game. It's just another one of those doing it on national TV on Thursday Night Football. I mean, come on. They got to do better than this. The Bears keep their division lead extended a little bit there with the win over the Steelers. I know. I felt like at times the Steelers were going to come back and win this one. They were without Aaron Rodgers. They almost won still. Had Mason Rudolph starting that game. And the Bears found a way to win. So, I mean, it was a back-and-forth kind of game, but the Chicago Bears found a way to win this one. So, yeah, tough one for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Meanwhile, the Bears, yeah, riding high right now. Might have a chance to win the division this year. We'll see how they do the rest of the year, obviously. That's a big win for them for sure. The Baltimore Ravens didn't cover the spread for me, but they did beat the Jets. I mean, for a while they had a slow start, but the Jets were leading. I thought, okay, maybe they might do, but Baltimore kind of turned around. They knew, and now because of that, Steelers lost and the Ravens win. Ravens are back in first. I told you 3 or 4 weeks ago, Baltimore's coming for that division. Now they got first place now, so Baltimore's got it back after winning 5 straight. They're 1-5, and now Baltimore's got the lead in the division now. So yeah, they got the AFC North back in their possession now. We'll see how they do. I'll see how both those teams do the rest of the year, obviously. That's going to be interesting how that division race plays out. But I feel like Baltimore's still, no doubt, the best team still. Despite a 1-5 start. I think they're turning around. They're turning the season around. They know how urgent every game is. The Lions survived a scare from the Giants. They were down 10, as much as 10 or more, and came back and won in overtime to beat the New York Giants. Giants have been playing tough lately, but my God, Lions lucked out that one, I will say. It was a back-and-forth game, but, man, Detroit found a way to win. They didn't cover, obviously. This one, I won this pick, but the Bengals didn't win the game, obviously. But, I knew the Patriots weren't covering 8.5. I knew the Bengals would keep it close. But Patriots, another win. They won 9 straight games after starting at 1-2. They're 10-2. They're leading the AFC East now. I mean, seriously, who can stop this Patriots team? I mean, they were close to losing, no doubt, but still, who's going to beat this team? I think they got the 1 seed and the division in their grasp right now. I hate to say it. I mean, the Bills aren't going to be the 1 seed, not going to win the division. They're going to be like a wild card team, like a 5, 6, or 7 seed this year. Unless they turn around. New England's right there the best team in the AFC. There's no doubt in my mind. New England is. I hate to say it. This is a Bills fan comment, but New England is. Drake Mays looked great. Phenomenal. That defense had a huge pick 6, but seriously, this New England team is so much improving the win total. Mike Vrabel's done a hell of a job coaching. I mean, I'd say I'll give a lot of props to Drake May. He's an MVP candidate, no doubt. But just Vrabel is coming in after they got rid of Jerry Mayo. I mean, it was tough to move off of Belichick, too, as well. But still, Mike Vrabel coming in, doing a good job just like he did in Tennessee. And the Seahawks, looking like they're going to dominate this game. But the Titans made it interesting there at the end. But the Seahawks found a way to win. Jackson Smith and Jigba putting up another historic performance, including that 63-yard touchdown. So, I mean, he's on pace to break Calvin's single-season record, possibly. I mean, there's a chance, but I don't know. But still a lot of games up, but still, he might do it. My pick of the week hit for the second straight week. I took the Green Bay Packers to beat the Vikings. They won by 17. At first, it was looking like to be a closely contested game. It was 10-6 at halftime. I was like, okay, this could be one of those ugly kind of games, maybe, or I don't know what we're going to see. But Emmanuel Wilson, I'll tell you one thing. Other than the Packers defense, Emmanuel Wilson showed up on Sunday. He balled out. Over 100 yards rushing, 2 or 3 touchdowns. He looked great. And the Packers D just mauled J.D. McCarthy, forced 2 turnovers. Of course, he had the muff punt. I think the muff punt was the difference maker too, but still, that was a game changer. When the Vikings muffed that punt, it was game over for them after that point, Because for a while, they were hanging in there. Packers D held the Vikings out of the end zone. They didn't give a single touchdown. All they gave us 2 field goals. That was it. 23-6. I mean, good defense for it, but the offense has got to show up a little more. Jordan Love's got to show up. The thing is, they didn't have to use much Jordan Love, honestly, this week. They had a lot of Emmanuel Wilson. Yes, first game without, they're without Josh Jacobs, but they somehow managed to win that one. But this is they got a bigger game coming next. That's a good start in their 3-game race. I took the Colts. They won that pick. But Kansas City down 29. They came all the way back to win in overtime. Chiefs lucked out, man. But the Chiefs, I think it's more of a Colts choke kind of too. It's just like, I don't know, but still, that was a good game too. And another overtime game, the Arizona Cardinals and Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought for sure Jaguars had the game won. Cardinals made it interesting there. But the Jaguars found a way to win OT. Their defense made a stand there. So, yeah, the Jaguars got a much-needed win. They got the win over the Chargers, but still, they found a way. They survived a scare from the Cardinals. You knew it was going to be a tough road test, but they found a way. Shedeur Sanders made his first NFL debut and won. The Browns beat the Raiders. I called it no matter who was going to start. I knew the Browns were going to beat the Raiders. It was one of those games that the Browns had a really good defense. They were going to dominate the Raiders. As Geno Smith had a bad year for the Raiders. So no surprise in that one. The Falcons took care of business against the Saints, no problem. Despite without, some key players like Drake London, and of course, without Michael Penix Jr. So, they're without, Bijan might have played stuff, but still, they were without some key players, and they still managed to win because it's the Saints. The Eagles, probably the biggest choke artist of the week. They choked at 21-0. They were up there feeling comfortable lead at halftime, up 21 points. Up 3 touchdowns. You thought, this game is over. Dallas made it interesting. They came right back and kicked the game-winning field goal to win 24-21. So that's a bad. Eagles, you shouldn't have let Dallas come back in that game. Eagles, no doubt, they're still a good team. Don't get me wrong. They're defending champs for a reason, but they're kind of a little bit fraudulent at times, too. I just don't know if we're going to get that dominant Eagles team we saw a year ago. There's times we saw a glimpse of it, no doubt. But it finally came back to haunt them after 2 ugly wins over the Packers and the Lions. It came back to haunt them. They were looking good. I thought, this is the Eagles we've seen, I thought, 21-0. And then they just blow that lead to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys keep their playoff hopes alive with that win. That's a big win for Dallas because I think they got a good chance at making the playoffs now because their strength of schedule the rest of the year is not going to be as tough as it would be. So, yeah. And I thought the Bucs would keep it close, but, man, the Rams dominated again. Yes, Patriots look like the best team in the AFC, but I think the best team all around this NFL season is the LA Rams. They dominated the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football. That defense dominated. Of course, Baker goes down. I get that's a big game changer, but still, that LA Rams team, I think, is a team that's going to win the Super Bowl right now. You got to tell always a build, but it's the LA Rams right now. Like, they got the weapons. They got, Matthew Stafford, who's an MVP quarterback. He's been in the league for a long time, old quarterback, but still, he's playing the best football he's ever playing. He's got Puka Nacua. He's got, Devontae Adams. He's got tight ends. He's also got, Kyron Williams at running back. They got some weapons on offense, no doubt. And their defense has been playing so much better. I know it's a little tough without Aaron Donald, but they've done better this year. The Rams defense looked so dominant. Seriously, this is the best team all around this NFL season. Usually I'd say it's the Eagles or Buffalo Bills or the Green Bay Packers. Those three, I great all year. But right now, it's the LA Rams right now. I think they're the best team in the league. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl right now. That's my Super Bowl team as of right now. That's the team that looks like the clear favorite right now. On paper, no doubt now. Everyone's saying it's going to be the Baltimore Rams, but right now it's the Rams. And the Panthers, yeah, they were in it for a bit, but still, the 49ers were too much. McCaffrey ran all over them. They had some good weapons. Despite Brock Purdy didn't do that much, but still, 49ers defense dominated. They forced a couple turns on Bryce Young. Bryce Young wasn't ready for the big stage yet in prime time. It showed it for sure, kind of, in a big-time game, because I thought for sure if Panthers would have won this game because the Bucs lost Sunday night, Panthers would have gotten the NFC South lead going into the next week. So, seriously, that's a big blow. But now let's get into rivalry week. Before we get into both our picks, let's talk about tomorrow's Sabres-Penguins game. That's a big game for me because already the Bills play the Steelers in Pittsburgh on Sunday, so Sabres will be in Pittsburgh too, so I'm home for a Buffalo clean sweep. So I'm going to take the Sabres, obviously, because Sabres are playing a lot better. They put up 9 goals, and of course, I was at the game last week when I was last week's show. We lost, and then all of a sudden, we put up 9 goals Friday night against the Blackhawks. Then you hold the Hurricanes to 1 goal. We're winning 4-1. He's one of the best teams in the NHL, so I think the Sabres get it done against Crosby. Crosby's not going to make it easy. I think it will go to like an overtime or shootout. It's going to be a close game for sure tomorrow between these two teams, no doubt. The Sabres and the Penguins. Going to be a fun one to watch, always as usual. Those two are just such an evenly matched game every year. I expect a lot of fireworks in this one between these two teams. So give me the Buffalo Sabres to win in a shootout. It's not going to go to overtime. It's going to end in a shootout. The Sabres get the win because they're the king of the shootouts. That format started back in 06, 07. Now let's move on to week 14. This is rivalry week, folks. This is the last week of the regular season before conference championships come out. Of course, before I do that, I didn't watch the rankings show tonight, but I'm gonna look at this week's rankings. I want to know what the committee did this week. The top 5 stayed the same this week. Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, Texas A&M at 3. Those 3 undefeated teams are out. Georgia stays at 4, and then Texas A&M stayed at 5. The one that kind of moved up in the top 10 is Oregon. They moved up a spot from 7 to 6. They moved up one spot for the win over USC. Ole Miss dropped a spot despite the win. But, of course, a lot of big things going on. Ole Miss, they dropped a spot this week. But still, they're still in the top 10. They got respect. Notre Dame stays at 9. Bama at 10. Top 10 still. BYU at number 11. They're kind of outside there. Miami at 12. They moved up another spot because of the win over Virginia Tech. Utah dropped a spot this week. Vanderbilt stays at 14. Michigan moved up 3 spots this week. Texas moved up a spot. What's at 16? USC dropped a couple after the loss. Virginia moves up 1 this week because of the Georgia Tech loss. Tennessee moves up 1. Arizona State moved up from 25 to 20 now. They moved up 5 spots this week. SMU back in the rankings. So is Pitt, since they're both in the conversation. Georgia Tech dropped 7 spots. They were at 16, now they're at 23. But I think their playoff chances are done for sure. Tulane, the highest ranked group of 5 teams, so they'll be the 12th seed. And Arizona at 25. Those are your rankings, folks, this week. I'm just wondering what the bracket looks like right now. But still, we still got one more show, Tuesday show, and then you got Selection Sunday next week. We're just less than 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday, so this week will be interesting how rivalry week goes. There could be some chaos. There could be. You just never know what you're going to see. This week in college football for sure. Starting with Black Friday, we got some huge matchups. Ole Miss looking to get a large bid. Or maybe a chance at the SEC title game still. They're still in the mix there. But I'm going to take Ole Miss no matter what to win the Egg Bowl because this could be Lane Kiffin's last game at Ole Miss just in case he takes the LSU job. He said the decision's going to come after their game Friday against Mississippi State. Was Lane Kiffin's going to find out the next day whether he decides to stay at Ole Miss or go to LSU. I'm interested to see what Lane Kiffin will do. We'll find out. Iowa and Nebraska. That's always an interesting rivalry game. Of course, Iowa's been playing better football as of lately. Nebraska without their star quarterback, so I got to go Iowa on this one, just because Mariola's out for the year. This would be a really fun one, despite Georgia Tech missing out the playoff. But still, it'll be a fun one because Georgia Tech was so close to beating Georgia a year ago around this time. It was a Black Friday primetime game in Athens. It went to 8 or 9 overtimes, and Georgia found a way to beat Georgia Tech. That was the closest they came to losing to Georgia Tech. It's not going to happen this year. Georgia Tech, big underdogs, but I think they're going to get it done. They're finally going to beat Georgia. This is the year they beat the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia Tech gets it done. Just because they're thinking about from a year ago. This won't be at Georgia Tech. This won't be at Bobby Dodd. This won't be at Athens. This will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the Falcons. So this is a good one. They're putting it there this year. So it's interesting how that game will be. But I like the Yellow Jackets just because they're mad about the loss. They know they're not going to make the playoff. They want to beat the rivals on rivalry week. They want to win. They want to finish the regular season on a good note before their bowl game, Indiana looking to finish first 12-0 season. They're looking to make some history on Friday on Purdue against Purdue. 7:30 start time on NBC. It'll be Black Friday as well, so that'll be a good matchup. It's not even close though. Indiana dominates. They're going to finish 12-0, and they'll be in the Big Ten championship, no problem. This Indiana team's been dominant all year. I wasn't talking about as much beginning of the year, but now talking about more. Yeah, they're for real this year. But I feel like it's the one that can possibly knock off Ohio State. I'm still sticking my take on that one. The Hoosiers might beat Ohio State this year. This is the team that ends Ohio State's winning streak. Ohio State hasn't lost a game since the Michigan game. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, Texas out. I got Indiana in that one. ABC 7:30 prime time. This should be a fun rematch. Texas A&M and Texas. Of course, Texas A&M looking to finish perfect on the regular season. Meanwhile, Texas looking to play spoiler a little bit, trying to give them their first loss of the year. Because Texas beat them a year ago at College Station. This time, it's in Austin, and Texas A&M's the favorite. Because Texas was a playoff team a year ago. This year is Texas A&M. But I like the Aggies this one. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a battle, no doubt. But I got to go with the Aggies. They're going to finish 12-0 as well. They have been a complete team, no doubt. Texas A&M's looked phenomenal. They had that comeback win. They're feeling good. I think they're going to beat the Longhorns. Unless Arch Manning just shows out and actually has the best game of his career. Who the hell knows? This will be a fun one. And as the Desert Showdown, Arizona and Arizona State, 9 o'clock on Fox on Friday. That'll be the last of the Friday slate before a long Saturday slate. Arizona number 25 and Arizona State number 20. That'll be a good showdown. Usually these teams are usually bad, but this is a good matchup. Actually, ranked opponents too. I gotta go Sun Devils. Arizona State's gonna win this one just cause it's at home. It's a toss-up. The Wildcats look like the favorites, but Arizona State Sun Devils, they're gonna finish 9-3. I'll take the Sun Devils in that one. Saturday slate, noon on Fox. Big noon Saturday. The game, that's the crowd. They call it the game every year. Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State hasn't beaten Michigan. Last time they beat Michigan was 2019, folks. It was in Ann Arbor. And I think that seriously, let's see. Michigan beat them in 2021. This one, I did not expect it because I thought Michigan, Ohio State, it's going to be Ohio State again. They're going to win that again. No. And then 2022 hits. I thought for sure Ohio State was going to get them this again. And then Michigan beats them again in Columbus. 2023 hits. The national championship year, I did take Michigan. I knew Michigan was going to win that. Like I said, this year, and then last year, Ohio State, I thought for sure was going to win. They were against a 6-5 Michigan team, and they still lost, but made the playoffs. That's what fueled them to be a national championship team. But still, Michigan has owned them this decade, and that's going to end. I think Ohio State finished 12-0. They've been thinking about this for a while because these Michigan fans have been trolling. They're putting signs at WWE events. They're just trolling, saying like, we haven't lost. When's the last time Ohio State beat Michigan? They just keep Michigan. They're just bragging about it. They should be because Ohio State used to dominate this rivalry, but it's going to end, folks. Ohio State wants to beat Michigan this time. It's going to happen this time, folks. Ohio State's going to finally beat Michigan this year. This is the year it's going to happen. They're going to finally beat Michigan for the first time in 6 years. Miami and Pitt. This is a huge game for the ACC championship contention right here. Pitt got a huge win on the road at Georgia Tech. Now they got to play a really good Miami team. Yes, Virginia Tech was hanging there for a bit, but still, just saying, like, another tough road test for Miami. They went into Blacksburg, no problem. Took care of business. Now they got to play Pitt. That's a big game for both these teams. I'm going to take Pitt in this one. I just thinking, because they're just playing just as good as football since they made the quarterback change. Pitt's for real, folks. I'm telling you. I thought for sure, like, Pitt Badger was going to run out the Georgia Tech game. No, they won that one after the loss in Notre Dame. This is a conference game, folks. I think Pitt keeps their hopes alive. I think we're going to see a 3-loss ACC team get in. It's the Pitt Panthers. I hate to say it. How much of a Pitt hater I am, but this team is playing the best football in the ACC right now. No doubt about it. Next, the rivalry game is the Governor's Cup. It is Kentucky at Louisville. Louisville was projected to be my ACC championship team, but they fallen apart. Kentucky, meanwhile, 1 win away from bowl eligibility. I'm going to go Kentucky. Much as I want to pick Louisville, but I got to go Kentucky. I think they're going to beat Louisville and get their 6th win and get to a bowl game, folks. I like them. Noon on the ACC Network, Clemson and South Carolina. The Palmetto Bowl is called this rivalry game here. I'm going to go South Carolina this one just because they've had a rough year. They had high hopes going into the year. They were highly ranked 11th in the preseason polls. They beat Virginia Tech. I thought, this team's good. Then Vanderbilt, and then they fall apart. They almost beat Alabama, but still, I got South Carolina finished on a good note. Clemson's already in a bowl game, but still, both these teams want to win it, but I think South Carolina wants to finish on a good note, despite not missing the postseason this year. Oregon and Washington, of course. Oregon still at-large bid, hopes on the line. At Washington, Washington's having a good year, 8-3. Always a good rivalry because these two are in the Pac-12. They have a long history of each other, but I'm going to go Oregon this one just because, they're still fighting for a playoff spot. They might have a shot at the Big Ten, maybe, but I just think Oregon wants to win this one to get a chance at a large bid in the playoff picture. Same with LSU, Oklahoma. This should be an interesting matchup how it goes, but I got to go Oklahoma. Just because. They want a playoff spot. They might have a shot at the SEC title still. So I got to go Sooners in this one. They beat Alabama fair and square a couple weeks ago. Tennessee and Vanderbilt, this would be a really good match because both teams are playing. Both teams in the state of Tennessee playing good. Because usually it's Tennessee's in the dominant one. Vanderbilt. Usually sometimes both of them are bad even. This is a great ranked matchup here. This is at Knoxville, so I'm going to go with the Tennessee Volunteers. As much as I love to pick Vanderbilt because Diego Pavia, but Tennessee's a better. Tennessee, for some reason, is going to win this rivalry game. The state line battle here, Arkansas and Missouri. Nothing to pick on. Nothing to really talk about this one. It's Missouri by a lot. The game's in Arkansas, but I just think Missouri gets it done. They're gonna have to be finished 8-4, no doubt. The Paul Bunyan Zacks next one. Wisconsin and Minnesota. This is one of the oldest college football rivalries running. So I'll take the Gophers in this one. Minnesota's gonna finish 7-5. And maybe Wisconsin might be time to move on from Luke Fickell. Penn State and Rutgers should be a fun one here. But one of them is going to get bowl eligible. One of them is going to get their 6th win and get to the bowl game. So I'll take the Penn State Nittany Lions. They've won 2 in a row. They're going to win their 3rd straight and get to the bowl game. You never know with Rutgers, but I just like Penn State in this one. Just because they want to do it for their interim head coach. They've rallied around since the James Franklin firing for sure. 4:30 on ESPN2, the Sunshine State Showdown. Florida State at Florida. Both teams having bad seasons. Florida State 5-6. Need one win to get bowl eligible. Florida Gators having a really bad year in the Billy Napier. They fired Billy Napier, so yeah, obviously too. So yeah, Florida's looking for a new coach. They're looking for a coaching change, but I'm gonna take the Seminoles. They're gonna get their 6th win. They should have gotten it last week, but they just laid an egg in NC State, and they're gonna beat Florida this week. I think they'll take the Gators down, no problem. The Iron Bowl in prime time for the first time since 2014. Alabama looking to clinch an SEC championship. All Alabama needs to do is just win it, and they're in the SEC title game. Auburn is just needs to get their 6th win to get bowl eligible. This will be a fun one, just because Auburn's been competitive this year. And they've been competitive. So I think this game's on upsetter. I'm taking the Auburn Tigers just because. I don't know. I just think Alabama slips up against Auburn like they've done in this playoffs before. I think it's going to happen again, folks. Just like 2019, just like 2013, Auburn's going to, and also 2017, Auburn's going to beat Alabama. It's going to remind you of those kind of games. Because in prime time, I like the Auburn Tigers in this one. Here, the Hollywood Showdown, UCLA and USC. It's a mismatch in this one, so I'll take the Trojans this one just because. UCLA's having a rough year. 7:30 on Fox. Northwestern and Illinois. This is the Land of Lincoln trophy here. This is a trophy game here, rivalry game here. So I'm gonna take the Illinois Fighting Illini. They want to finish strong because they had high hopes this year of being a playoff team, highly ranked in the preseason. They thought they're gonna be a playoff team. It shows how tough this Big Ten is. I'll take Illinois in this one. Next, Bill Belichick's first taste in the North Carolina NC State rivalry. Not much to really talk about. NC State's going to win. Belichick's going to finish 4-8 this year. I got the Wolfpack 7-5. Before I get into the Virginia Tech game, let's pick this next one. Notre Dame and Stanford. Notre Dame just needs to win, and they're in the playoffs. I think pretty much they're in good shape if they beat Stanford. So I think Notre Dame will win this. They'll be in the playoffs. They've been looking like a playoff team as of lately. So yeah, I got the Irish. Last but not least, I know it's 7 o'clock and I passed by them, but I gotta say the best for last. Virginia Tech and Virginia. Virginia looking to beat Virginia Tech for the first time since 2019. They're favorites. They're 8.5. It was supposed to be 10.5 at first, but it dropped. The spread's dropped a little bit, but it might go back up. We just don't know. But Virginia's big favorites at home against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech having a rough year. Coaching change, players leaving because of coaching change, like transferring and all that. It's been a rough year for the Hokies, no doubt. Virginia just needs to beat Virginia Tech, I think, and get in the AC title game. If Virginia wins, UVA wins, they're in. But we all know how this rivalry series usually goes. Virginia Tech's had the upper advantage against UVA for a long period of time. For the last 2 decades or more, Virginia Tech's had their upper number. They've only lost a couple times during that era, Virginia Tech's had their number, so everyone thinks this is gonna be their Virginia wins, and I'll be honest, I'm scared of this one, but I'm taking the Hokies just cause they're not gonna spoil it, but they're gonna take the Commonwealth Cup. A rough season, they want to finish a win on a good note. Send the interim head coach Phil Montgomery on a good note so we can get ready for the James Franklin era next year. So give me Virginia Tech for the big upset of the week and beat down Virginia. Now let's get into Week 13 this week. Oh man. We got a loaded slate, starting with Thanksgiving. The Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. This is a crucial game for both teams if they want to have a chance to win the NFC North, folks. This is going to be a hell of a game. The first time these two met was Week 1, Micah Parsons' debut. The hype was real. They sacked. They were getting after Detroit. They shut them down. Packers look phenomenal in that game. They They started out great the first 2 games, and they struggled. And they're back at themselves. It's just the lack of play calling, I think, lately. But still, Detroit's having a rough year a little bit too. One of these teams, I think, could be possibly missing the playoffs. That's how good this North Division's been this year. I mean, seriously, this is crucial for both teams. Lions found a way to win in overtime. Packers, dominant defensive performance over the Vikings. I'm taking the Detroit Lions. I think just because they know this is more important to them. Packers know it's important too, don't get me wrong. But just because Detroit is just, they know they got to win to beat the Packers this time. They want to have any shot at making the playoffs or even the division. They know how big this is on Thanksgiving. So I'm going to take the Detroit to finally win a Thanksgiving game. And they won barely. I mean, they lucked down against the Bears last year, but still, they're going to finally beat Green Bay this time. Get revenge from a couple years ago. I mean, they want to get revenge from this year. I'm saying Packers need to put as much points as they can if they want to win, because this Lions team is still explosive at the end of the day. Game number 2, 4:30 on CBS. It is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Dallas Cowboys. Who do I like in this one? The spread's 3.5. I mean, the Chiefs are favored, but I'm going to take the Cowboys as the points. And I think Cowboys might actually beat them because they just beat the Eagles. They just beat the Eagles last week, down 21-0. And the Chiefs kind of lucked out last week. I think Cowboys find a way to upset the Chiefs. I like Dallas because they're playing so much better lately. If their defense actually shows up like they did in the Raiders game, they're going to have no problem taking care of business. Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens to close out the Thanksgiving slate. That'll be the prime time game on NBC. Joe Burrow is expected to return, so this will be a fun one. The spread is 6.5. I'll take the Bengals and the points. I just think Joe Burrow will make it. I mean, him playing could make a difference in this one. If you're the Steelers, you got to root for the Bengals right now. For your division, you got to hope the Ravens slip up. I mean, seriously, Ravens have been red hot lately, but I just think it'd be a close. Ravens will barely win this one because Joe Burrow is a difference maker. It's not gonna be a blowout, folks. It's not gonna be a blowout at all. Black Friday game on Amazon Prime. The NFL third straight year is doing a Black Friday special on Amazon Prime. It is a really good matchup. The Chicago Bears at the Philadelphia Eagles. We thought the schedule came out. I was like, oh god, it's gonna Eagles blowout. You know, like, oh god, the Bears are bad, but Bears are back, folks. I think the Bears. This is the Bears' year to finally win the division. They're finally back to their 2018 form right now. Caleb Williams is second year in the league, doing so much better. The Eagles are favored by 6.5. I think it's be a lot closer. I'm taking the Bears in the spread in this one just because they've been playing so much better football after an 0-2 start. Now the 1 o'clock slate, NFL Sunday now. It's NFL Sunday slate. Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. It's a crucial division game for the Colts, but also any chance of the Texans. This one is a big one for both these teams. But I'm going to take the Colts this one because they'll bounce back no problem after a loss. They did well after they lost the Steelers, so I think they'll have no problem taking care of business against the Texans, even though the Texans defense had a huge win over the Bills last week. Buccaneers at the Cardinals. We don't know the status of Baker Mayfield yet, but I'm going to still take the Buccaneers to cover. I think no matter who the quarterback is, Bucs are going to have no problem with the Cardinals. So I like Tampa Bay in that one because they lost back-to-back games. They're due for a win. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Mismatch in this one. Jacksonville's playing good football this year, so I think Jacksonville will cover spread and will take care of business against the Tennessee Titans. So I got the Jags. LA Rams at the Carolina Panthers should be a good one, but the Rams are 10.5-point favorites on the road. And I'm taking the Rams to cover just because they've just been the most dominant team this league. I mean, I said it, like the LA Rams are the Super Bowl favorites right now. They're the team that's going to the Super Bowl right now, in my opinion. And for a while, I kept saying it's going to be Bills Packers, but right now it's the Rams. The Rams are legit right now. That's a team that's the best team in the league right now. I got the Rams. This one's a toilet bowl. Saints at the Dolphins. Dolphins will cover this 5.5 easily. The Saints are ass. Dolphins are not as bad as the Saints. I'll take the Dolphins that one. Atlanta Falcons and New York Jets. Another toilet bowl game. Falcons will cover. I think they'll have some of their guys back maybe, but still, I think the Falcons will win in the Meadowlands against the Jets. San Francisco 49ers at the Cleveland Browns. Shador will make his first home start at Cleveland. So he made his debut in Vegas, and now it's his first time playing in front of the home fans. 49ers are going to dominate him. They're going to spoil it for him. 49ers are going to take care of business against the Browns. So I got the Niners. 4 o'clock slate, the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold playing against his former team. Since the Vikings got rid of him, I mean, Minnesota, you are out of your minds for getting rid of this man. Sam Darnold's an MVP candidate along with Drake, along with Matthew Stafford. You know, I mean, yes, Josh Allen's still in the picture kind of, but still, you know, I mean, you got rid of your guy that got you to the playoffs. That got you a 14-win season.
I mean, why would you get rid of this man? I mean, he led you there. You had a good defense, don't get me wrong, but seriously, Sam Darnold is playing just as good as anyone right now, along with Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder this one. So Seahawks will dominate this one. And now, Vikings fans, you should know you're stuck with J.J. McCarthy. You wish you had Sam Darnold back, because look how Sam Darnold's doing. He's going to show why the Vikings should have kept him. Because seriously, he had a phenomenal he rejuvenated his career in Minnesota. He got you guys a chance at a Super Bowl, possibly. You know, yeah, he lost the Rams. They had a couple letdowns, but still, he had a great year last year. But this one I'm looking forward to next. The Buffalo Bills at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both these teams coming off losses. Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin said he will play this week, so Rodgers is expected to play against the Bills. Meanwhile, Josh Allen's been banged up a little bit. I think he's going to play still, too. This one's a more, I don't know, it's hard to tell who's a must-win for them because Steelers are outside the playoff picture. They're in the hunt. They lost their division because of that loss last week. It's a must-win for both these teams. But I think it's more of a must-win for the Bills right now, just because. Just because they're supposed to be a Super Bowl favorite, supposed to be a Super Bowl contender this year. They're not showing it. Big season on the Bills more. Much I want to say the Pittsburgh Steelers because they still got some other games left still, but this is more big for the Bills. Just saying, because the media's been all over them more than the Steelers. The media's been all over them. So I'm going to take the Bills to cover 3.5, and that's my pick of the week. The Buffalo Bills are back this week. They are going to kick the shit out of Aaron Rodgers. Max Garvin, I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. Your Steelers are getting their ass kicked by the Bills. Josh Allen's going to stampede all over your shitty defense, your shitty secondary. It's going to be a shootout, but the Bills will get it done, folks. Give me the Bills all day. LA Raiders Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Chargers. Nah, it's a mismatch. Chargers will win by 10. They'll cover the spread. This one. Sunday Night Football. This is such a mismatch, too. The Broncos at the Commanders. Broncos, no problem in this one. They'll cover 6.5. I mean, if Jayden Daniels comes back, maybe, but I got the Broncos in this one. And to wrap it up, Monday Night Football. New York Giants at the New England Patriots. Giants have been playing more competitive. Since the firing, they almost had some wins. They were close to beating the Packers. They were close to beating the Lions. Patriots, meanwhile, are due for a loss. I'm taking the Giants. This is my big upset pick in the NFL this week. New York Giants are going to beat the Patriots. Just because the Patriots lucked out last week, and plus the Giants are due for a win just because how close they came their last two games. So I got the Giants and the points, plus 7.5, and may upset the Patriots. So I hope everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving week. I will be back to our normal Wednesday, but it'll be a 9:30 or 9:30 start because I'll be at the Bonnie's game next week. So I'll see you all next week.